sip water like a fish sip, box water to the gillies, yeah. This a new wave, this a takeover. Do it for the future, time to get a world of makeover. Time never stops, no, the timing is not. Time to clean up the block. Streets been a mess, how can I breathe? Smoke in the air, pure gasoline. I see the news, see what you read. Change gotta come, put that on me and watch me educate. Yeah, we been, could've started, but it's never late. Do it for my kids, yeah, let's set it straight. Do it for your kids, gotta set it straight. It's time to regulate, we need change now. We need solar, we need EV in the game now. Make it changes so the earth we know can stay around. Make it changes cause we had no time for playing around. Let's quit the playing around. First rule to me, let's keep it clean. Watch how we build, clean air we need. Start from the flow, sweep up the scene. We going green, work as a team. First rule to me, let's keep it clean. Watch how we build, clean air we need. Start from the flow, sweep up the scene. We going green, we going green. New car goes zoom, but it's quiet. You can hear me come and think I'm lying. If I said I'm perfect, I'd be lying. I can say I'm perfect, but I'm trying. I'ma give my all till I'm dying. I'm the new Captain Planet, here to make changes, not damage. World on my shoulders while I'm standing. I'm the new Captain Planet, here to make changes, not damage. World on my shoulders while I'm standing. First rule to me, let's keep it clean. Watch how we build, clean air we need. Start from the flow, sweep up the scene. We going green, work as a team. First rule to me, let's keep it clean. Watch how we build, clean air we need. Start from the flow, sweep up the scene. We going green, we going green.
Hey, Kimmy, baby, I had a book over here in this drawer. You seen it?
You mean a little black book? Oh, honey, I cleaned out those drawers in that whole room and made a big donation to Goodwill. But don't worry, we can get you another one.
Oh, hell no. You're never going to believe what happened to me today at the Goodwill. I found a book of seed phrases, honey. I can get those hair transplants now. Oh.
Go best friend, that's my best friend. Go best friend, that's my best friend. That's my best friend. Go best friend.
Welcome everyone, whether you are watching live or you are checking this out later. My name is Lane and you are watching the later edition of the midday crypto charts with Road Dogg. I am your Crypto Road Dog, here to help navigate you through this Bitcoin cycle. Having been in crypto since 2012, starting out mining, learning technical analysis back in 2020, getting that under my belt, and that changed my life right there. Before learning analysis, it was a constant losing battle, watching my money just dwindle away to nothing. But learning to understand the markets was key, and that's what I'm here to talk to you about today, is this market. Now, as we can see here on Crypto Bubbles, that we got some lift in some altcoins on the day. And we can see a little bit more bullish sentiment coming to Bitcoin. So that's something we need to talk about. We got a price pump of all days on a Friday. Now, I want to tell you, this is one of the market makers' favorite games to play, is to get us into a mental disposition over the weekend, to give us a bias for the week to come when they really throw their fingers into the market. So can we trust this? Well, right now we got rejected at this trend line. Now, if we zoom out a little bit, I'm on the 1 hour chart right now. This is what we're looking at from this trend line here. There's some other ways that we can look at this as well. Don't want to give that up, but this is currently the trend line that we've been in since we had this high, this other high, and we got rejected here. So this is a valid trend line. We're rejected over the weekend. Do you think that we're going to get some crazy pump over the weekend? Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but just given the low liquidity weekends that we have, this smells very much like a setup to me. Now, I do want to post some things, and this is me going over Bitcoin in the market, so that tonight when I get into my juicy live stream, we focus on altcoins and all the degen plays that we love to talk about late at night. We don't have to spend as much time talking over what Bitcoin's doing. We covered a lot of that last night, anticipating that this pump smells very funny. So let me go ahead and just show you my overview here. We come up to this, well, let's come up to this other lovely chart that we can actually see. I want to take a look at our indicators here on the monthly chart. Now, true, our MACD did get a bearish cross or a bullish cross, but it's going sideways. That's usually an indication that this market is not the best one to trade, even on the monthly scale, okay? I want to draw your attention to this. We have our stochastics are coming down on the monthly. Our biggest time frames had the most weight. The ever famous red dot on Market Cipher, or VMC if you like the free version, VWAP coming to the downside. Money flow is in the green right now. Now that could quickly come back to the downside. If it does, oh, that's going to push this down harder. As long as it stays in the green, and you can barely see it right here, but down here on the bottom of this indicator, it kind of gives you an easier way to keep up with that. Now that helps our pullbacks, as long as we stay in money flow, not to be as bad. So we do have that on our side. But also I want to throw this to you. The 2-month chart's not looking much better. We got the monthly chart and the 2-month chart saying we got some bearish times ahead. And that's my warning, is that don't get caught up in all the hype that we're going to, you know, these crazy levels. Now it is true, short term, we can expect a little bit of a pump. Will it be a huge pump? Probably not. I would be looking first at the 200 weekly moving average, which is coming in about 27,700, possibly up as high as this area where we have the weekly 100 moving average, and that's about 29,700. So we got a little bit of a range that we can look at. Personally, how I'm looking at this overall, let me clear off some of these moving averages so that we can actually see what we got going on here. So between these orange lines is a zone that we're playing in. I think we will continue to play in this zone. Now there is a midpoint to the zone that we're kind of at right now. Perfectly. Right here where this purple line is. I want to make that a dash. I'm also going to make it a little bit easier to see. I want to throw it this color right there. Actually, let's just make it a line. Okay, so this can kind of spell out our range. We were in the lower range, we're now in the upper range. We have not made a lower low, so that's helping us as far as bullishness. Now the weekly does look bullish, but I don't want you to forget the bearishness that is coming behind this weekly on the monthly and the 2-month chart. So keep that in mind, that a pump up that we get more than likely will result in a situation that looks a little bit like this. This is what I've been projecting for a long time. It's just been taking it months to actually play out. Where we are doing, or possibly, we'll say possibly, because it's not official until it actually happens. So I'm not going to sit out here and just call this stuff like crazy until it's confirmed, but we are possibly going to rise up to these areas, about 29.6, possibly, maybe lower, maybe 28. And this could make what we call a head and shoulders pattern, which is a top pattern. And then that can give us a move to the downside. Now we can take a measured move here to get an idea about where this can take us. Because if we break the neckline, we break below that 25,000 area that we're holding by the skin of our teeth, we could be looking at 18,000 by this measured move. Now I do want to give you a little bit of a hopium here, but that this measured move from these falling possible head and shoulders patterns don't always come down all the way. Usually we're looking at about a 50% retracement. Now that brings us back to about 21,000 right to this area. If I want to be a little bit more precise, I'll just draw a fib there and just mark it out right here. So these are two very excellent targets that we could reach should we breach that 25,000 area. And that's kind of what I'm looking for right there. Now, again, talking short term, we are looking like we're getting ready for a pump. Well, turn my moving averages back on because they are the guidelines in the dark. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, I'll keep that up there. Here we are in the weekly, we're below the 200 moving average, and that's bearish. We've also had the 9 moving average to come over and cross bearishly over that. We've been testing this 9 moving average. Currently it's sitting at 27,000, and that's why we're having a hard time getting above that. With the pump that we had earlier today, not getting very far above that. We rejected off that weekly average. We also have this red 21 moving average that's getting ready to cross the 200. That's also bearish. Now we could bump up and test that, 27.8. Not impossible. The thing I want to point out here is that we're in the middle of this big red Ichimoku cloud. Now usually that will push us out to the upside. And so that's possible that what we're seeing, we also have some bearish or some bullish indicators coming on. We had our little green dot here on the weekly, but pay close attention to the money flow is coming down. That is seriously going to affect any pump up that we get. Throwing a little damper on that. Hey, Leandro, welcome, man. I'm glad to have you here. And Strega says Bull Trap Fridays. Exactly. That is exactly what I'm saying. They like to get us to these little points where it just looks like we're hanging on, going one way or the other. And this weekend is no different when you look at what we got going on, especially on those smaller time frames. So, drawing a trend line here, it's exactly what we got going on. Getting rejected at this trend line. Are we going to pump over this weekend? Let's get you excited. And there may be a pump come Monday. They may continue to pump it. Mondays are usually known for their false moves, and then they may drive it back down. I'm not here to predict the future. I'm just here to tell you about the warning signs of what I see. This is all probabilities. Now, trading this on leverage, well, it's easy to get wrecked right now, because they are flip-flopping like crazy. And when we come down to the smaller time frames, we can see that. They like to take the price up, they like to take it down, just like they did here, wick up, wick down. wick up, wick down. They're going to keep doing this, just stopping out, especially all the high leverage traders, which I've been doing a lot of lately. So I've been experiencing some of that firsthand on some of my, my degen trades. However, make sure I get the right one. I do have a spot account over here at Fairdesk. Now, if you're not familiar with Fairdesk, I do want to take just a quick second to talk about it. New exchange I am working with right here, Fairdesk Exchange, have low trading fees. The great thing that I can stress about is that they have no KYC required. That's awesome. They are licensed in the US and also Canada. And right now, if you make a deposit there, where there's spot, futures, or even their copy trading, they do have that. They're giving you a 5% bonus, and they also give you a portion of the proceeds of the feeds. So you get bonuses periodically, just being a part of the exchange. It's kind of interesting. But here's what I'm laying out on my spot. Now, spot, I'm in accumulation mode for Bitcoin. That's my whole thing. I'm not trying to trade it on spot. I'm trying to accumulate. So each of these levels that I've got here, I've got a limit order. I'm just waiting for these suckers to hit. So whether it's going up, going down, I'm careful when it's going up, but I'm watching these areas when we go up, but I'm paying very close attention setting my limit orders. All of these areas that we can easily, drive down and pick up, especially over the next couple of months, right? And I will even have more orders set lower depending on how far down that we go, because at this stage of the game in Bitcoin, let me give you a look at what this exchange, this is what the spot version looks like over on Mixed. You can see I've got my limit order set down here in the bottom. I think it's cool over here. Excuse me there. This part over here where it shows the values, if you stack it, you can see, where the top orders are over, basically. So, but if you go on each, you can see where each one is awful heavy. So you can see where some of the market makers kind of come in and how they flip flop and kind of put their orders in. Very interesting, I think, right there. But Fairdesk Exchange, a good one to look at if you need an exchange, and you do need an exchange, especially in America. You need several exchanges. But if you're looking for one, I do have links in the description below, and that does help to support and offset some of the costs that I incur on this channel. Well, thank you very much. But that was my plan and how I'm working that out, and that's where I am working that on the Fairdesk spot, which I do highly recommend. Now, coming down to the smaller time frames, I'm going to take a look at the 4 hour, okay? So paying very close attention to this trend line. I love angles. WD Gang was also big on angles. He was more into the numerical value. I'm more on just catching the angles because we know that price travels in a channel that identifies the channel that we're in very easily. So there's a good possibility of finding confluence that we can come up to about 28,000. What happened this weekend? I would be surprised, honestly, because there's just retail is not in here on the weekends. Now, with all the news of spot ETFs, things like that, we could see more come in, but that is really coming from the institutional side. So in my opinion, they just got us in this wonderland for the weekend. I'll be happy to see a pump. The 4 hours, basically looking nice. We're just now losing our 9 moving average. And to me, that's an issue. That's our first sign of weakness. And, from there, we'll come down to 26.6 to retest this area of our 21 moving average, and possibly down to 26.347 again. That's what I'm seeing possible over the weekend. Now, coming down to a smaller time frame, it's probably hard to see this with that red cloud, or the red behind it there. A little bit noisy, going with the extremes here rather than my candle bodies, which I typically normally do. I find it gives me a little bit better of a read, but I'm going with the extremities here. This is technically a bullish pattern that would break to the upside. Now, if it does, we got 2 measure moves that we can look at. Let's go ahead and talk at those. When treated as a flag, which would give us this one, that's a little high in my book, but it does give us confluence back up to another area. So that we just talked about, 27,958. So I doubt that we reach these areas this weekend, although it could happen. It may be earlier next week. Monday, possibly Tuesday. But then we need to be aware of what the larger time frames are saying. So we got a week of juicy goodness according to Market Cipher. Right now, the 15 minutes showing some bearish signs that it wants to come down just a little bit, and that's kind of normal. The smaller time frames, I don't believe, are going to be your friend unless you're just, really scalping and day trading, which has mostly been my strategy the last few weeks. But overall, my goal is to stack my sats, get into some more of Bitcoin, and that is because Bitcoin is prompt to take off if we do get an ETF approval. I mean, Ethereum's getting a little bit of good news. Ooh, do you guys see what I see here? We've got a very possible head and shoulders right here on the Bitcoin dominance. Can that make a difference for us? That's very interesting. We got to zoom out here. It's currently touching the 200 moving average, but it looks like Bitcoin dominance may drop this weekend. Now that could be interesting. I'm on the 4-hour chart here. That could be beneficial for our altcoins. So definitely something we'll be looking at tonight's stream when we start getting into the degen altcoins. One of the things I want to draw your attention to as far as Bitcoin dominance is this trend line that we've got and this pattern. Now this is technically a bearish pattern, and the more that we knock on this bottom trend line, the more likely we are to fall through, which would be great, but we did break out of a bullish pattern. So this one's due for a retest, which may be what we're seeing with this head and shoulders, although it's confidently a reversal pattern. So we'll have to watch this closely. Because here's some things that are going on with Bitcoin dominance. Now, if Bitcoin dominance falls, it comes down, and Bitcoin goes down with it, then alts tend to remain stable. So we may be okay there over the weekend. We may not see the big drop in altcoins. But now if Bitcoin's going down and Bitcoin goes up, well, that could be exciting, but doubtful that we see that this weekend. Keep an eye on it. That could pump alts. But here's what could happen. This weekend could be beneficial for altcoins just because we typically see sideways action on the weekend. And if Bitcoin dominance continues to go down, looking at my chart, you can see that altcoins are going to pump up a little bit. They're going to go up. So turning our attention to altcoins a little bit. Now I want to come over to the total 3. This is our altcoin chart, right? Breaking out of the falling wedge. Yay, baby. Love it. Is there a measured move? There is. It will take us back up to right here. So we could see a couple of billion, or about $20 billion possibly come into altcoins to get to that area. Could that happen over the weekend? Maybe. People might get bored with Bitcoin. I don't know. But it largely depends on what Leandro's talking about there. Leandro's talking about the dollars. I've seen the DXY, that's the dollar, pumping. I've calculated it can reach 108. Do you think we can see a Bitcoin pump while the dollar is going up? It has happened before, but what I usually see is that when they both go up, it's usually followed by a dump in Bitcoin. So if we do see that, keep some eyes on it. Now I do have, I've got 108 too, as very possible. Dollar's very strong with what they're doing over there, and they want to keep it strong. I think that's why you see so much opposition to Bitcoin, because think about it. And this whole idea with bank custody, I saw Kathy Long just break this down really beautifully. She's the head of Custodia Bank, and she's privy to see what's going on in the markets and in politics. Very interesting. It's on KuCoin News. I recommend that video for anyone, but she lays it out there for what she sees. I mean, think about this for the moment. This whole thing with custody, they don't want banks messing with crypto. They've done choke point 2.0. If banks were to custody crypto, they have to get away from the fractional reserve system, and they can't. They just can't. They will crumble. Custodial bank is unique in that they are not a fractional reserve bank. They're not a lending bank, and that kind of puts Custodia into a different framework. But it's interesting the information that we're getting there. I mean, the Biden administration is terrified that crypto will destroy the bank, and it could. We've said that from day one, man. What the banks need to do is get on board and get away from this fractional reserve system and get on a real standard. And I'm very impressed Custodia is doing that. I'm not pushing Custodia. I know nothing other about it other than what I hear from her. But she's very sharp and she's very privy to some good information that she's connecting dots to. And those dots are very telling. So Dixie seems to be going up. Now, short term, we're getting a little bit of a pullback, but, you know, we're still in this, you know, very bullish trend. Not breaking that line in the sand there. We just keep going up, and we can expect that, and that will have an effect, of course, on Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance dropping. That is very impressive right here. If it breaks back into this falling wedge pattern, we might see a sharp decline. Now, what would cause that? For Bitcoin dominance to drop, dollar to go up, must be some bad news coming from Bitcoin. Possible, bigger time frames say that could happen. The monthly, the 2 monthly. The weekly is just all fired up, ready to go. So, tells me we got maybe 2, maybe push it to 3 weeks. That's enough time for this Bitcoin ETF news to come out. Will that be bad news? A total another denial for some crazy reason that makes people want to give up on Bitcoin and makes the institutions smile that they can get it at a much cheaper price? I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm not Nostradamus, but those are some signs that I'm seeing, some writings on the walls that we need to pay attention to. So that's basically what I got for Bitcoin. If any of you guys want me to check out, why do you always do this, Bitcoin Gecko? If you guys want me to check out any altcoins real quick, I'll be happy to do that. Otherwise, that was pretty much what I just wanted to get out on this Friday for Bitcoin and where we're kind of headed. You know, I don't expect much. That's why I wanted to share my little fair disc trading strategy with you guys on spots. Because I think that's a good thing to plan out how to accumulate, make a plan how to accumulate Bitcoin. Because face it, when things do turn around, Bitcoin is going to take the show. I mean, it is going to outperform the altcoins. So just keep that in mind. You want Bitcoin in your portfolio. I recommend at least 50% of it or more. And it will definitely keep things very stable in your portfolio. You won't see the big fluctuations as much as you do. You'll see fluctuations, but if you're in all altcoins, man, you can see your portfolio die by 40, 50% quick. Bitcoin will give you that rested assurity to help balance it out. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, heavy in those, and then pack up those altcoins, baby. They may be coming cheaper too. So I need to go back to Total 3 one more time here and go for the weekly chart. Now currently it looks like it might get a little pump, right? But the bigger time frames, the weekly likes it just like it does Bitcoin, so we can see a little action, and possibly this weekend. Larger time frames, well, they're looking a little bit iffy too, so cautious. The biggest thing that I've got to share about altcoins, and I need to come to this bigger time frame to show you, is that our main trend line that we've had since the last bull market is broke. This one right here was holding beautifully until May, and then we got above it in June and July, and then we lost it again in August. So we weakened that trend line. We're below that trend line. It is now resistance, and that's not a good look for altcoins. All the gains are going to be erased, and this means that we've got some new areas, and we could drop a lot in altcoins. So be ready for that ride over these next 6 to 8 months. Even a little bit after the halving, you can still see altcoins suffer. So there's still like this almost basically a 1 year window, 9-month window, somewhere through there where, I mean, good to DCA to altcoins, catch some juicy buys when you can, but we can expect some downturn in a lot of these altcoins. We can see some of them die. We can see the new ones start to come out, which should be hot, that we'll look at. But the weekly chart says caution is needed with altcoins because it will retest this line and then come down, and I'm telling you, we could lose $100 billion in altcoins over the next few months. Just be ready for it. It can hurt. So my game plan basically is during any altcoin pumps we have, see where I can yank out a little bit of profit. I don't want to get rid of all my bags because in my mind, that's, that can work against you. Always leave room for the unexpected. And we can add to those bags as the prices fall. So that's my take on altcoins there. Strega says ETE is at 18.6, mean not that it keeps trucking till tonight. Let's see. Strega likes ETE. That's Ethereum Express. Let's see if we got this. Can we do it here? This is against US dollar. Take a quick look at Ethereum Express here. Oh, nice, Strega. Nice. It's definitely on the roll, staying above the 9 moving average. That's... Strega, did you get in on the bottom, baby? That's a nice bump. That's a 3x if you got in just a few days ago, September 16th. Strega was talking about it. Strega was talking about it on our live shows. Like he saw the writing on the wall, baby. Going parabolic. Look at that. So I think I looked at it there, looking kind of suspect with it in my mind, because that's a bearish pattern. That's bearish. But then we broke to the upside of this bearish pattern. So Strega, you were right. This means that there is probably some, since it broke that trend line, parabolic action getting ready to happen on this, unless it fakes us out. But generally when you see that, so I had a target here at 21 cents, and that's still valid, but let's see what we got to work with here. So taking a Fibonacci right there, 37 cents is in play. 37 cents and also 30 cents. So by Dow theory, when price goes on a big pump like we saw on that wick, it will usually retrace about 50%. So that's why we're paying attention to the 50% mark. And that's why it's not really a Fibonacci level, but that's why it's on our scale. You can definitely look at Fibonacci for all of these for targets, because Fibonacci makes excellent targets. And when you look in hindsight, yeah, that's where your new support and resistance levels play out to be. But Strega, if you're going at a hopium target, 72 cents possible. 72 cents. Now, if that were to happen from where we are, well, that's another 300% return right there. So Strega, my man, if you got in this thing down here at the bottom and this does reach that area up there, oh gosh, that's a 6x right there. And all I can say is, well done, my man. Oh, that's more than 6x. That's almost 13 or 14x. Can it do it? Will it do it? I don't know, but it looks like it wants to do something. This one's starting to move. Money flows in the green. There's some bearish divergence forming, but that happens when you get these parabolic moves. The biggest thing I can tell you to watch out for is the breakout of a bearish pattern, which is what we've done. And there we are, baby. There's our parabola. So the safeguard that you want to take with this, when it comes to these parabolas, is that once that breaks, well, it's good to take a break from the coin for a while, because it's down and sideways. So following this trend line right here, candle body to candle body, when that line breaks, I advise to get out to end the trade, but we're not near it right now, so no worries. If it keeps going sharper, say like on the smaller time frame, let's go to like the 1 hour. You can draw that trend line. Let that be your line in the sand. But as this goes parabolic, there should be more of these trend lines forming that are curving to the, well, I guess you guys looking at me, curving to the upside. And this thing is ready to rock on the 1 hour. Wow, I don't even know how you, I guess Uniswap is where we're at. Some people will take an entry here. To me, that's high risk, but I may look at this and say, dang it, Strega, You should have twisted my arm on this. But man, I'm glad you're in it, and I'm glad you're making money. I'm glad you're in a winning trade, my man. Congratulations. Let's go ahead and give this coin ETE Ethereum Express its due recognition. Oh, that's pumping, baby. Trigger says, I didn't get a lot, but it's something to look at. Well, hey, you're in it. So, it was either build or wait. Yeah, Strega says, yeah, I'm looking at the 21. Hey, make it higher, Strega. If it does, that'd be a great, well, possible great place to, I don't know. You gotta give it room for a stop loss. Trailing stops are great. Stop loss here at the 236 would be a smart move there. And she's far past it. Strega says it's hit or miss. So I mentioned it yesterday early. You mentioned this one several times though on the live back in the, cause I mean, I wouldn't have had this little section here charted. So even if you got in at 10 cents, man, that's great. That's almost a 2x right there. I don't know when you got in, but I'm just, so good job, man. Good job. All right, guys, that is all I wanted to do on this stream, and then I do plan on going live tonight, probably about 10:30, around that time, if any of you guys are interested in catching it. If you can, help the channel out just by hitting that like button. Mr. Elvis will give you the thank you whenever I can find Mr. Elvis. I may be lying about Mr. Elvis. Gosh darn it, Elvis. He's always around when you're not looking. Oh, you're killing me, buttons. If you can, just hit the like button. That's all I got. I don't think Elvis is coming on.
For those of you out there that have been hitting that like button,
Elvis!
I just want to say thank you.
Elvis!
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So until later tonight, trade carefully, man. Trade carefully. And maybe we'll see some altcoins pop off. Maybe. But we'll take a closer look at that tonight. Good night, everybody. God bless you. Put God first in your life. Things will be a lot better.